Hey everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to walk you through the process on how to create these fashion figures with dresses. You do not need to know how to draw fashion figures. I'm going to walk you through step by step. This is super easy to do. I'm using watercolor for this activity, but you can use crayons, you can use marker, you can use any art supplies that you want. I am using a little bit of glitter glue as well. You don't need it. I just thought it added a fancy touch to my ladies. I am going to walk you through the process step by step, so grab your art supplies and follow along. I'm using my Light Wish watercolor palette for this video. I really like how compact it is, and I like all the colors I get in this this palette, as well as I love this brush. And I'm not going to be using this brush for this video, but I love this brush for faces, and I'm going to be using that later on during the holidays, because I find this is the time of year, October, November, December, that I start using my watercolors. What else did I want to mention? I did swatch these colors so you could see how bright and cheery they are. Normally I don't swatch, but I think as I continue to progress in my progress and pursue my art, I am seeing the need to swatch the colors so you could see exactly what they are before choosing them when you're painting. A lot of times I used to just go willy-nilly into my watercolor paints, and now I'm being more thoughtful with it. So I am going to grab a couple of colored pencils, but like I said, you actually do not need watercolor for this. You can use anything. You can use paint, you can use crayons. I'm going to show you how easy this is. So we are going to jump in and get started, and I hope you join me. I also wanted to mention, if you are new to my channel, I have a series of drawing ebooks. I also have ebooks that you can trace of. This one is called Fashion Figures, and it's just a series of my sketches that you can download and trace or color and use however you like. I will leave a link to my website in the comment section for you to look at, but we are going to jump in and get started. Step one of this process is drawing 3 ovals for the head. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm just grabbing any colored pencil that I want, and I'm simply going to draw 3 ovals. And if you watch my videos, you know this is usually how I will start my figure drawings, with just 3 ovals. We're not going to be drawing figures, we're actually just drawing the ovals, as you can see here. And we are going to draw a neck, but only one line. We're not drawing the whole neck. It's going to be something simple. This does not have to be perfect. You can see what that looks like here. And I'm leaving a lot of room because that's where the dresses are going to go. The other thing you could do is just draw a line to mark the shoulders, okay? Just so you know where the shoulders are. We're not focusing on arms, legs. We're not focusing on anything but getting that head drawn there. I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you a close-up. So this is all we're doing, and we're leaving lots of room for the body. What I will do after I do the watercolor version is I'll show you how I can do it with other art supplies in case you don't have the watercolor, or if you don't have paint and you only have colored pencils. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a blue. Any color will do. And so all you're going to do is start with one of the ladies, and you're going to draw almost a heart shape, because that's going to be the top of her dress. This is almost a little bit abstract, so you don't need to worry too much about perfection or measuring things out perfectly. I'm just drawing a heart, okay? And that's what that looks like. And now we're going to get into the dress portion, which is really easy. You're going to grab your paint or your colored pencil, and you're going to make these kinds of marks here. All right, I just made something like this. Does not have to be perfect. We are not focused on perfection. It almost looks like a flower, okay? You can see what that looks like. The next step is to grab a little more paint or grab your marker, and we're going to now draw some kind of loops Okay, I love the way that looks. And I might add a little bit of water and play with it a bit and bring it down a little more. You can really play with these, and it could be as fancy or as simple as you want. But I really like how she almost looks like a flower. Now the feet are my favorite part. I'm going to keep it really simple and draw 2 little triangles. It still looks super cute. They look like little ballerinas with the little triangles for feet. So all I'm going to do now is grab a little more paint and just, you can make it as big as you want, or you don't even have to add the feet. I just think they look really kind of cute. And so I am loving how this is looking. It's so simple and it looks like a figure. The only thing I'm going to do now before I add the hair, I'm not going to add the hair, I'll add the hair last, is I'm going to pick some more blue and I'm just going to tap little dots over her head to look like flowers, okay? It looks like she's wearing a crown of flowers. And you could see how pretty that looks, and it's so easy. Okay, I am going to do the pink one next because it's just another favorite of mine. And for the pink one, you can just grab whatever color you have. And I'm literally going to draw some, I'm going to just draw a mark for her waist, okay? So I just wanted to map in where I think her waist will be because that's part of the dress. You don't have to worry about how high, like just guess, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to draw almost like little loops coming up because she has a fancy loopy dress on from the top. And then at the bottom, we're just going to do lines. So I'm just going to go simple lines for her dress at the bottom. And one of the things I think about is you can do this and create a gift for Christmas or birthday gifts or a gift for someone special and just like a little painting like this, or it can be a card. I'm making my lines a little thicker as I go down, and you'll see this one get a little bit thicker and a little bit lighter. And I'm going right over on top of the other dress because these are overlapping and this is just for fun. But I kind of really like the messiness of this, and then I'm really going to, there. I really do enjoy playing with the watercolor. I really enjoy the effect. But like I said, you can also do this with crayons or markers. And I'll show you at the end, I'll show you an example. But these are the little feet. Hopefully when I point, you can see it. We're going to draw the arms in and add the lips. But now what I'm going to do is put in maybe some flowers for her. She's got flowers in her hair as well. And we're going to put that in there in a minute. Now, the final dress is one of my favorites. I'm taking a light yellow color, but I'm going to add a darker on top of it. But what I'm doing is adding almost like flowers. Okay, and I'll get a darker yellow to go on top. And we're just kind of making, oh, I need a little bit darker than that. It's almost like going to be flowers. You can see how this doesn't have to be overly neat and tidy, but you can see her flowers there. Hopefully the camera's focusing on it and you can see it. And I'm going to take a bit of the lighter yellow to draw her sort of waist in there. And then I want to come out a bit. Okay, maybe her waist is, I don't know. Okay, I want to come out a bit like this. And then I'm going to take my darker yellow. You can choose whatever colors. It really doesn't matter about the color, but I'm going to like bring this dress out a bit more. and add some finer and what I'll do next is she will have some flowers in her hair too, maybe some red. And if I was feeling brave, I might add a little bit of red to her dress, but maybe I'll add red shoes. Whoops. Maybe I'll add red shoes. And sometimes if you're just focusing on shapes rather than actually trying to draw real feet, you can see how it sort of comes together so far. We're going to add the arms in, and I'm going to show you how I do that. But if you look here, all I'm doing is adding a line to indicate the arms. And I did that with this one as well. I just added a line to indicate arms. You're not trying to draw arms, okay? So this one here, just adding a line. And I don't want to go in too much detail because if I do, it's going to start looking like I tried too hard. So I'm just kind of leaving it. And same with this lady. Because her shoulders are showing, I'm going to try to and this one's going to have arms just going down, just one line. Don't worry about it, one line going down. Oh, I might get her neck in. Okay, so we've got their necks in, their arms in, they're starting to come together. I love how this looks so far. And I think what I'm going to do now is get the hair in, and then we're going to add some sparkles. Okay, one of them is going to have black hair. And I think this lady's just going to have the black hair. And I'm probably going to leave her like that. I don't want to go into too much detail because that's how I often ruin things. And I think one of them will have brownish reddish hair. Okay, and that'll be this lady, and she's going to have like a bun in her hair. And then this lady, maybe she'll have like reddish, yellowish brown, I don't know. Her hair will be yellow, I guess. And I kind of got a little bit of watercolor on her face, but that's okay. So far, it looks really good. The next thing we're going to do is add the lips. Now, I could use paint for it, but I think I'm going to just use a pen, and all I'm going to do is draw a little red, like almost like a heart, really. Almost like a heart. I'm not adding eyes. You can if you want to, but for me, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. But since I'm not adding eyes, I'm going to add cheek color. Let's see if I could bring this down so you could see the cheek color when I add it. So let's see if we could get hers in there. And I'm just letting it sit there. It looks like it's a little redder than I anticipated, but I'm fine with that. I don't want to get too obsessed with what's happening with the color. So I'm liking how it's looking so far. Okay, I'm going to add some sparkle glue to this woman's dress. I don't think I'm going to use the paintbrush because it's wet, so I'm using the end of it just to sort of put it in there. Because some of these sparkles are nice, and look how big they are. So pretty. And it's a nice way to add some accessories to your drawing. And texture too. I like adding a lot of texture. Now normally I would wait for this to dry, but the sun is starting to set. And I feel like maybe she should have it on her waist. So I'm going to try to get it there. And then maybe I could give this one some earrings. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can plop some on there. Uh-oh. I'm not sure. I kind of like it. You could give them earrings, jewelry, play around with it. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I do love the gold details because it adds some texture to it. The other thing you could do is add a little bit of gray at the bottom to give a little bit of shadow. So I'm going to do that. And you're just going to see me sort of, I'm trying to use a really light touch with this. Oh, I'm trying to find the right color. Oh, well, I got a little blue here. That's fine. I'm going to mix it together, even though I was actually looking for gray. Just can't seem to find the gray. That's a mix of colors, but that's fine. You're just adding a little shading to it. So this is the end result of this very simple drawing with the just drawing a face and the neck and then drawing the dresses. No fashion drawing or fashion illustrating skills required. I'm going to walk you through one more time and use some colored pencils. Okay, so now we are going to redo this, but with just colored pencils so you can see how easy it is to do with any art supplies. Maybe I should leave this lady here. Nah, I'll just go. I'm just using a limited palette and I'm going to use the same color that I had before, and I'm going to draw an oval. And you can see how I kind of just, it's almost like an upside down 6 really. And I'll bring the neck in a little bit, okay? And I'm marking where her shoulders are. Hopefully you could see that. I'm marking where her shoulders are, and that's all you need to get started. Now we are going to draw a dress on this lady, and I'm going to draw a blue dress, and I'm going to draw the heart. Okay, it's like a heart coming down. Okay, and then you can draw a line just to indicate her waist, and we're going to draw almost like a flower. 3 petals, right? 3 ovals. That's the first part of her dress. And then the next part of her dress is going to be sort of more ovals. Loose, you can color them however you want. And you can overlap them if you want, depending on what kind of look you're looking for. And then I actually go down again. I think I did that with this one. And I love how this looks. I'm going to do a little triangle for her toes, like her feet. She's almost like a little ballerina, if you can see that. And then I'm going to draw some flowers in her hair. I keep it the same color, just so you can see what this looks like if you're using colored pencils or crayons. So I've got her hair done. And then the next thing you're going to do is we are going to put her lips in. Again, it's almost like a heart. Okay, and we will draw her hair. I need some dark color for her hair. Okay, and now we are going to try to draw her hair in. And maybe I'll make her hair come down over her shoulders. We'll put in her shoulders. Now, I feel like I've made her face small, but for the sake of time, you could see that you could still do this with colored pencils. This is the final drawing with the pencils. So you can also do it with any art supplies that you have. I used the watercolor. You can use anything that you have on hand. It's just a really fun way to practice drawing dresses and figures without actually having to draw the figures. You're really focused on the dress. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.